welcome to episode 117 of In Touch with iOS, a podcast that talks about iPhone, iPad, Apple Watch, Apple TV, and related technologies. I'm your host, Dave Ginsburg. My co-host, Warren Sklar, is here. How you doing, Warren?
I'm doing good, thanks. Good to be here again. Wednesdays just keep coming and coming. Well, Thursday's coming.
As we record this.
Yeah, but Wednesdays and Thursdays. Yeah, Tuesdays, they come. Yeah. Fridays, sometimes.
And that other voice you heard is our returning guest, Mr. Jeff Gamet. Welcome back, Jeff. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for inviting me back again. I do have a lot of fun hanging out with both of you. Yeah,
we do have a lot of fun, and you have an open invitation anytime. So
thanks.
We have a lot to talk about, actually. I didn't think we would, but there's a lot of stuff in the news, and we're going to actually talk about some of our favorite tips with iOS 14, maybe iPadOS 14, and could even dabble a little Apple Watch. And I have a new Apple Watch. I have the Series 6, so I'll give you a little bit of view on that, and
awesome.
Lots of other things. So there'll be plenty for you guys to listen to and enjoy. So let's go ahead and get started with the news, as we always do. First thing is, as this was recording, I was like, okay, we got a release. iOS 14.0.1 has been released as we record this on the 24th of September. It was the first update to iOS 14, and as far as I can tell, it's the only fix that really was the bug that was all over the internet. People were not happy about causing third-party apps to not be able to be set to default after a reset of the iPhone was restarted. So that means your default browser and your default email address. So as far as I see, there's a couple other fixes in here as well. Addressing an issue that could prevent camera previews from displaying on an iPhone 7. See, I wouldn't know that. 7 Plus. There was a number of things here. Did you guys already install it, Jeff? You got it installed already?
I did. I installed it right away because I rush in where angels fear to tread. Yeah. And I was hoping that it would have other little fixes as well. But,
looks like it does.
Well, it doesn't have the one fix that I want.
Which is what?
Which is battery life.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we'll touch on that just a minute in our thoughts so far with iOS 14. Warren, you're on beta, so I guess this doesn't affect you much, right?
Yeah, I'm one ahead. I mean, the only thing that is interesting is everybody is assuming that the iPhone 12s are going to ship with the 14.1 because the 14.2 beta came out before 14.1, so that's what people are assuming. So I wonder if that's still going to happen, A, and B, if that does happen, that means that if this is the same release that came out today that's going on the iPhones next month, did they actually know about the bug when they released? Because that's what it fixed. So, I'm just thinking out loud. But there you go.
I'm thinking the answer is yes, 14.1 really is what we're getting on the iPhone 12 when it ships. And that this default app bug turned out to be a bigger thing than they anticipated, and it's fixed in 14.2. But there was enough complaining that Apple did the 14.0.1 update just to address that until next month, presumably, when we'll get new iPhones and iOS 14.2.
So
of course they're
So then you're thinking there's two versions of 14.1 out there. There's the one that came out today and the ones that ship with the phone.
Well, the one that came out today is 14.0.1.
Is it?
Yeah. It's 0.1, right?
He's right. Okay. There we go. So 0.1 is today. And
today it came out today, right? 0.1.
They snuck a zero in there. Okay.
That's
right.
I
thought it was 14.1 coming out. Yeah. Okay.
So that means this is a very, when they ever do that, it's always just an incremental change that they had. It was a bug fix. They had to fix something.
Right.
And it looks like I said, we have this link is to Mac Rumors, so there's a lot of good information in here. But because when it first came out, they of course they always say there's no information. It's security. We can't tell you. We'd have to kill you.
That's Apple's special way.
Yeah, exactly. So, but the update went across all OSs, iOS 14, iPadOS, tvOS, watchOS, which is all fixes with bugs. So run out, get it updated. You'll be happy. So it'll squash all those bugs. But you talk about the big thing that was complaining about with default browsers and default emails. I'm super stoked that they did this because I'm looking at the default browser list, and I've got 5 browsers I can choose from now. When have we ever been able to do that before?
That is pretty
never. Cool. Yeah, so Safari, Firefox, DuckDuckGo, Edge, and Chrome are all the browsers I have on my iPhone, and I could choose from any one of those. And then same thing with email. Email is so far I have Outlook and of course the standard mail apps, and you can now make Outlook your default email if you so choose. And there's others out there too. I'm not so much of a fan of the third-party email apps other than Outlook for the most part. But no, I'm glad they fixed that bug because people are switching because not a lot of people are super happy about the native mail app. They may not like it. So now you got a choice.
Am I remembering correctly that before a web browser or email client can be set as the new default app, it has to be updated to add support for that?
Right. Yeah, you have to have the most current version of those apps because and you go in the App Store, there's 90 apps ready to be updated. It seems like every single day.
Yeah, every day. You got to keep checking.
You got to keep checking to make sure. Make sure for sure you of those 5 4, not including Safari, that I mentioned. Make sure that you've got the most current version of that app, and all you got to do is go into the settings, go into the app, and right there is where you can make the change to which browser you want as default.
Apple has to bless it too. There's a bunch.
And Apple does have to bless it. Like Brave is one of my other browser I have on there that one has not been blessed as of yet.
Right.
And I still have it unless it's been updated. I switched
mine to Edge. I like Edge.
Edge is really good. Edge is a great browser. I'm just hoping we can get it to work for work and use it more full time. It's very solid. Yeah, but I remember with the Mac we had that little bug with the Safari 14 that got installed, and a reboot fixed that for me. And so even Edge on the Mac is really good too as well.
Yeah, and you could sync everything across.
That's exactly. Yeah, it was through your Microsoft account.
Yep.
Speaking of syncing, have you noticed that handoff between web browsers works perfectly regardless of which browsers you have installed on any device?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Pretty much, yep.
Yeah. So it doesn't matter. I don't even have to be running the same browser on my Mac as I am on my iPhone. It just works. I know that's been a thing for a while now, but now that people have more choices, I wanted to point that out.
Absolutely.
It's very, very cool.
So next story in Mac Rumors, as always, my favorite resource for music news. Apple stopped signing iOS 13.7 after releasing iOS 14. No surprise here. So you could no longer downgrade. Downgrading is no longer possible. So that happened a couple days ago. So if you're not ready to go iOS 14 yet, don't do it. You want to wait. If you want to stay on it for a while, you can definitely wait. But once you install iOS 14, there's no turning back. Any thoughts on that, Warren?
No, nothing. It is. It is.
Anything from you, Jeff?
I would have liked to have seen that happen like maybe next week.
But give it another week at least, yeah.
Yeah, but Apple's always more than happy to just cut the ties to what they consider old.
Yeah.
So there you go.
It's usually for jailbreaking too. They don't want anybody taking
that's true.
Taking a phone that has a jailbreak for a previous version. They try to lock you out of it. That's
true. And then next story, Apple actually upgraded. I'm surprised they still call it iWork, unless this is from Mac Rumors as well, or just using iWork as the term, because that's always been the suite of apps, which is Pages, Numbers, and Keynote. They did update all 3 of those apps for iOS. They did for Mac OS as well, but And features a lot of support, the new updated support for pages, numbers, and keynotes. All three of the apps now support the Scribble feature, which was introduced in iPadOS 14, which is so cool. It allows you to handwrite anywhere in a text field, and within those apps, the written text will be converted right to typed text. And then the new feature will also let the Apple Pencil users write out pages, documents, numbers, spreadsheets, keynote presentations, all that stuff. There's a whole laundry list of stuff that they did in this article. I'm excited about this, and I think the suite of apps that Apple offers with these three is really good. What do you think, Jeff?
Yeah, I'm glad to see this happen because the features that we got in iOS 14 and iPad OS 14, we should be able to take advantage of those in Apple's own apps. And while you were talking, I did a quick check, and it's officially iWork on Apple's website. You can even go to apple.com/iWork.
Okay, so
Yeah.
they have kept it. I mean, I know for a while they had stopped even mentioning it, but no, I guess I was wrong. Thank you for fact checking for me. I appreciate that.
Sure thing. And I needed to check for me too because I wasn't sure. I use Keynote and Numbers a lot. Pages not as much.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to see how this changes, or how the way I use these apps changes now that I can actually use Scribble in them.
That and they've included a little more support with videos. You can play YouTube and Vimeo videos right from your presentations, which is a link in. But you wonder sometimes. I mean, I think that the age of the internet has gotten a lot better that you could just do a live stream of a video from YouTube, let's say within a keynote presentation. But in my world of support from over my many years of doing that, I've always said, let's download the video and have it embedded and be done with it.
Having done many, many presentations, I would rather have the video stored local.
Yeah, exactly.
But I can see places where you do a presentation where actually having a live stream show up would be part of the presentation.
Right.
So, I mean, it's cool to have the option, even though
for sure.
I wouldn't feel comfortable relying on it during a live presentation.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I always was nervous. Warren, you have any thoughts on the updates to these three?
No.
Fine quality apps.
I convinced myself once to buy an Apple Pencil, and now I told myself I'm never doing that again because I really never needed one or used it. So, the Scribble thing, I would like to see somebody use it just to see what it does, but I'm not going to buy the pencil. I'm not doing it. No need for the pencil.
Oh, you bought it and then now you don't have it?
I had the first one with one of my earlier iPads.
Oh, okay.
So then I'm like, when I sold it, I got rid of it. So I'm like, do I need the second one that I have, the iPad Pro 11? I don't need it. I'll never use it.
Yeah.
Even the Scribble works, I'll still never use it. It's just $120 down the drain for me, but I'm sure it's great.
Okay. All right. Next story. This is a 9to5 Mac. iOS 14 adoption has rapidly been outpacing iOS 13 as
the
users
widgets.
react to the widgets, picture-in-picture, and more. This was a couple days ago, near last week. It was coming with a number of new features. Of course, it's been exciting, including the home screen widgets, picture-in-picture support, and so much more. I think picture-in-picture was a big thing. So they're saying the adoption rate's right around 28% already. It could be higher since this article was posted, but it's great to see. I tend to see that iOS, the latest versions of iOS get adoption pretty quick versus Android.
Well, they can, whereas in many cases, Android users can't upgrade.
Right. Yeah, because it's restricted by the
carriers.
Carrier.
Yeah. Unless you have a pure Google phone like a Pixel, you really can't do much. It's good to see.
Yeah, the day after the release, my 17-year-old son came up from the basement and he's like, "I got to show you my phone." And he showed me this phone, and all his icons were changed from it, and he's like, "This is like trending. Everybody's and this is before the stories started coming out about everybody doing this, customizing their phones. And so obviously he got early on it. And so he showed me his phone, and basically all his icons were old, like iOS 7 style icons, is what he did.
Oh, yeah.
So
That's cool.
It's cool, and so the kids are loving it. That's why it's happening. These kids are like have chains and chains of threads, comparing their screens between the widgets and the icon change. The icon change is a hack. It's basically a Siri shortcut that opens up the app, and then you could give the Siri shortcut a downloaded picture from your camera roll. Which
now I'm
I
thinking
think
maybe I should make a set of iOS icons.
Well, they are. People are doing it, and evidently some kid made like $5,000 overnight because he charged it, and he didn't realize. He woke up in the morning and like he had $5,000 of people buying his icons. But the one question I have is wasn't this possible in iOS 13 with the shortcut? I don't know why. I don't think it changed to 14. I think it just
it is kind of interesting because I think just shortcuts were still there. Yeah.
Trending. So I didn't try it unless they change the functionality, but there's just groups and Instagrams and Twitters of people changing up their home screens, and people love it. So the word's getting around, and that's why the adoption rate is going up.
That's very cool.
It's great. Yeah. We'll hit on widgets a little bit, just a moment here. The next story I want to talk about was 1Password partners with the company Privacy for virtual credit cards. Great to see that 1Password's diving into some other businesses. This was on the Mac Observer, our friend Andrew Orr. With privacy.com, people link their bank accounts and to generate unlimited virtual credit cards, perfect for signing up for online services. And now 1Password customers can use these cards in the password extension, 1Password extension for Safari. And all you have to do is create a new privacy.com virtual card right from your browser, set spending limits, and then save the card details. Just in the United States so far, but they are saying that they may hint for expansion to the future. Thoughts, Warren, on this one?
Nope. Thumbs up.
All right. And Jeff, anything on this?
I think it's awesome. And for a lot of people, I think this will make their lives easier when dealing with online credit card payments, especially if you've ever been in a situation where you've had a credit card skimmed.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, I've never done that.
And then the last story back at Mac Rumors, Apple. This just actually came out as we're recording this today on September 24th. Apple has now reversed course, and they're now allowing band-only returns for the ill-fitting solo loops.
Could this have not been the thing from the beginning?
Yeah, why didn't they have this? Apple reversed course, created an online band-only return method for customers who purchased the Apple Watch Series 6 or the Apple Watch SE with a wrong size solo loop or braided solo band. When I opted to buy it, well, I'll talk about that in a minute, but yeah, I thought this was absolutely ridiculous. Well, why would I want to return my entire watch because this band didn't fit right? And most people who have purchased this watch have extra bands. They can live without it.
Right. Yeah. You just use another band until the replacement shows up.
Yep.
It's just absolutely crazy. So it looks like some folks put some stuff on Twitter saying, "Hey, I'm at Apple support." They decided, "Oh yeah, we can just and look at this. This guy even said that they are also throwing in a free sport band and profusely apologizing because we messed up."
Yeah, but the bands aren't even available. I mean, you can't go to the
you
App
can't even
Store.
Get them. That's the thing.
You
They're so hot. Yeah.
I mean, if I could walk into the Apple Store tomorrow, I would get the green braided thing because I think that's cool.
Yeah.
But I called my local store today and they don't have any. So it's at this point, it's just leaving a bad taste in my mouth between all this stuff. So I'm like, just forget it. But the the funny thing with that too is they also reversed course on the power adapter for the high-end watches. They started taking them out. So the two things that people complained about so far yesterday, today they changed, I guess. So, I guess public opinion works in that case. I'm hearing so many kind of stories about the sports loop integrated thing where somebody says it gets bigger over time, but sometimes your risk gets bigger when it's hot. I mean, at this point, I'm not even sure if I want to deal with that, to be honest with you.
And you hit the nail right on the head. I decided not to do it. And
there you go.
A great segue after all that news. We'll go right into our topics. Yes, I did decide to buy an Apple Watch Series 6. Had been talking about it and was looking at, do I really want to do it? Do I not really want to do it? But then I just decided, no, let's go for it. So when it was released, I believe when it was announced during the Apple event on that Wednesday, then they were going to be available on that Friday. I was on a pursuit to find watch at one of my local stores because I thought, maybe I'll get lucky because the stores here in the Chicago area are open, of course, with limitations. So I went and looked, and sure enough, I found a store locally that had it, and I really wanted the blue. I think that blue is a really hot-looking color, and I thought it was really cool, but they, again, first off, that band is an extra $40 when you buy it with the watch. If you buy it new, it's $100 for the solo loop band. So
there must be some insane technology in that if it's $100.
I don't understand. No, I mean, just like the Milanese loop and a lot of those other bands that they sell, those were expensive too. So, but for a sport loop, which costs them next to nothing, and the braided loop, I just didn't understand it. So I decided the blue. I've got a two-tone edges with the kind of the orange and blue band here, and it's the Velcro, which I really like. I have a whole collection, as all of us do, of bands. I think I don't know who I was talking to. Somebody actually, I think this a friend of mine. We're talking. About bands, and then all of a sudden he pulls out his big case. He opens it up, and there must be 20 or 30 bands sitting in this case.
I have one of them.
I'm sure you probably have them at word as far as bands go. So I decided, you know what? What the heck? I'm gonna go ahead and go with the braided band they had, the braided band, but the Velcro, so it's adjustable, so I don't have to deal with it not fitting. I really love this band, and I've got a couple other different colors I can switch out if I so want.
And you went with blue for the watch?
I went with a blue, yeah. If you can
and do you like it?
I really like this color. I think it's really hot, and it looks on the crown, the digital crown. If you can see it in the camera here, it has that little red dotting on it again, like they did, in the past there. So, actually, this one is. This actually might be because this is cellular, because I did get the cellular model, but I did not activate cellular.
So now you could put a red band on it and it won't clash because it matches.
Because it's got the little So if I decide I want to go red, So, so really, I mean, I think a lot of people have asked questions. What's the difference between the Series 5 and the Series 6? Well, what I did was I traded in my Series 4. And I was fine with it. I thought about it, and they gave me $140 for the Series 4, which I thought was fair. For as much time, I value my time a little more. The difference of maybe I could have gotten a little $40 or $50 for it. But then if you do it some places like on eBay, then they take the fees. You start selling it on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist. Then you're dealing with these people trying to lowball you. So I'm like, it's fine. I just decided it was time, and the Series 4 was it was older, and that's why I wanted to kind of discuss the difference between the Series 4 and the Series 5 and the Series 6. Well, the one thing for sure is I'm truly getting used to is the always on feature, which is in both the Series 6 and the Series 5. Mm-hmm. And the design between the 6, they're pretty much the same between. As far as their design goes, other than colors. I mean, I like I said, I really love this blue. I think it's a really hot color, and plus they had product red and other colors too, which was nice choices. You don't have that in the 5. I mean, apart from that, they look exactly the same. And the other differences was the display. The display is a 1.78 inch OLED for 448 by 365 pixels on the 6, whereas the 5 was the 5 was just about the same. And so they're about the same. The processors, that was a big jump. You went from the S5 dual core to the S6, and it's 20% faster. I do notice it faster. And I'm kind of happy about that when it comes to that. The sensors, there is a lot more sensors with the 6. You got the accelerometer, gyroscope, compass, the always-on altimeter, the ambient light sensor. You have fall detection, of course, we had that. The heart rate monitor, ECG function, and the blood oxygen sensor. Now, the blood oxygen sensor, I could take it or leave it. I mean, you have to be really still, and you have to have your arm in a position where it's measuring properly. Mm-hmm. And it is good, and it seemed accurate enough. But I could take it or leave it as far as that goes. So far, Jeff, what did you have any thoughts on? You were with the Series 4 or Series 5? Do you have?
I'm still on the Series 4. There wasn't enough that changed in the Series 5 that I felt compelled to get it. The Series 6, I definitely want. And yes. And it's actually that blood oxygen sensor that seriously?
Series.
Hey Siri, stop.
S lady
just turned my phone upside down. Come on,
S lady.
There we go. She's upside down now. Maybe she'll leave us alone. Sorry about that. I was actually trying to charge my phone because the battery was almost dead. Anyhow, it's that blood oxygen sensor that I find to be really intriguing. The other new features that come on the 6. I'm like, okay, fine. But that's how it is for me every time. There's always one key thing that I see and think, all right, that's my reason to get a new Apple Watch. And it was the EKG last time, ECG.
Right.
And this time, I haven't bought one yet because I wanted to watch and see what people think, especially of the blue color, because I was thinking that blue looks pretty awesome.
It really is. I really like it, and all the other bands I'll wear that I decide to change with, I think will look really nice on them. I mean, I've always had the space gray. I just keep it plain, and you had the series. You're currently on the Series 4, and I was in the same boat, so I decided to jump. But Warren, you're on the Series 5. I don't think you're ready to take any leaps yet on this. Right?
Yeah, I mean, if Apple's going to give me 180 for mine, I think. That's what they said. Yeah. So if I went to Apple just to go, and I walked in and they had a Series 6 available, I might just trade it in and do it. I mean, but the fact that they're not really available makes it an easier decision. Mm-hmm. Plus I can't get I like the blue and I can't get the blue or the red because my wife would notice the difference between my 5 and the 6. And that's not a good thing. So,
you bought a new watch.
No, it just turned blue. I don't know why.
It must be oxidation, honey.
Yeah, it's just I painted it. It's nail polish. So I had the space gray aluminum 5, and
I could not deceive my wife. I had to. Yeah.
No, well, yours is blue now, so you gotta fess up.
She knew. I told her more. Well, I was a good boy and told her ahead of time.
if I did it, I would get the same color I have now, and I wouldn't say anything because it'd be like $200 for me to upgrade it up. But even for the $200 with the trade-in, I can't see the reason to do it. Between the 5 and the 6, I got almost all the same features except for the blood oxygen and the slightly faster processor. So it doesn't bother me too much.
But battery life, I've noticed, is a little, and we were going to talk about battery life on the iOS 14. I do notice it on the Apple Watch too, that it is going down a lot quicker than it had on the Series 4 for me. But a lot of people want to be able to take advantage of the sleep, hours, and it was a big requested feature that was added to watchOS 7, which is actually available on pretty much all the Apple Watches. Which I still couldn't understand how I could get that to work because if I would sleep with it all night, then the battery's practically dead. I guess you go take a shower in the morning, throw it on the charger, and
I think that's the general idea.
Yeah, that's usually. I think I'm going to try it tonight. I have not tried it yet, and because I'm so used to taking it off at night because I have it right on my nightstand.
I tried it once and I hated it. I hate the feeling of having it on your wrist. Yeah. And I hated the feeling of needing that feeling that I needed to charge it. It kept me more awake
Did it?
It kept me more awake than not wearing it, so that probably affected it. I mean,
Yeah, I've got that $79 base, the puck base charger with that pulls up, and that's
yeah,
how
I
I
got something like
charge it
that.
on my nightstand.
They
That's what I'm worried about. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, Amazon has the right idea. They're selling something that's basically it's their Amazon Fit thing now. I don't know if you saw it, but it's kind of like a cloth thing, and it's it doesn't have it's just like a sensor, and everything goes to the phone. So, what they should do is that Apple, what they probably should do, and I don't know why they're not doing it, is they should have a sleep mode on the watch where it pretty much turns off every service out there except for tracking the sleep somehow. You get more battery life out of it, but they don't have that.
Yep. So
I'm surprised that's not part of sleep tracking.
Right.
I haven't messed with the sleep feature because I have a bedside a sleep tracking thing that is much more accurate than what you can get from any wrist-worn device, and so I just don't need what Apple's offering there. But I just assumed that when you went to bed, you do a thing, like where you tap the button to go into theater mode. You tap something and go into sleep mode, and then it just turns off all notifications. It shuts the screen off and goes into the low power mode where it's just doing the motion sensing and stuff that it needs for sleep tracking.
Yep. We should do that.
And then WatchOS 7 in general is just a great update to the watch. A couple things that's kind of stood out. I don't know if you guys like them. Is some of the new watch faces were kind of cool. There's some really great ones. The Chronograph Pro face, which is really neat with a tachometer that can display details on speed and traveling over time and distance. And there's just a lot of really great watch. And of course, I stayed with the infograph. I've been so used to it, but I think I'm going to start exploring a little further. Is there any watch faces that you like, Jeff, that stand out to you?
I've been playing with just several, just because, like the new chronograph watch faces, and it's funny for me because I always go back to the custom watch face that I built off the utility watch face, because it's simple, it's clean, and it's not overloaded with information. I do have one of the infograph watch faces set up with all the stuff that I need for when I go outside. So I know what the temperature is, I know what the UV index is, I know what the AQI is, and I've got all the weather data, which is actually important stuff when you live in Colorado, just like if you live in the West Coast right now, because you're dealing with weird weather, you're dealing with fires, you're dealing with bad air quality. Yeah. And it's too much information on a watch face. So it's like a special use thing. So, for everything I've been playing with, I've already gone back to my custom utility face.
And watch face for you, Warren, is it what's your favorite? What's your favorite? What do you use?
Ever since Series 0, I created a favorite album in photos of my favorite pictures that I've taken of places, and pretty much sync that to my watch. And every time I raise my wrist, I get a different picture, and that's what I like.
Yeah, I forgot. There's the one that I made right away, which I think is wonderfully fun. Yeah. And I had to swipe through to see what was still on here. And it's the robot face.
Yeah.
He sits there and smiles at you, and his eyes move around, and so, and with that one, I have the date, the time, temperature, air quality index, and this happy robot.
You could do I play with the Memoji now. The new one is you can make. It was silly.
I haven't done that yet because I was concerned that I'd set it up and then feel like I was being very narcissistic.
Yeah, no, you're just staring at yourself, and
you're looking at your face, and it's going like this.
The face just moves
back and forth.
It goes back and forth.
Stick your tongue out, and
And then I
so
play
I
with
should
it.
make someone else's face and put it on there.
There you go.
And then you could talk to it, like it's, and call it to Siri.
I could make a face for my own Siri.
You can.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Well, maybe I'll play with that.
So I'm not going to go through all the features of what's been added with the hand washing detection mode was kind of stood out. It also listens to the sounds.
Oh, it works perfectly for me.
It doesn't work for me at all. I was doing the dishes today and it went off. I'm like, no, I'm not washing my hands. I'm doing the dishes.
Well, no, see, that makes sense because it's very similar motions.
Yeah, but it doesn't go off when I'm actually
But
washing
it hasn't
my hands.
gone off for me when I'm washing dishes. But it's so perfectly consistent when I wash my hands. Yeah. And I was genuinely expecting it to
20 seconds.
be really intermittent.
20 seconds is way too long to wash your hands. That's crazy.
Okay. It also listens to the sounds of water.
Surgery on me.
Yeah,
well,
that's
I
true.
wash my hands. I just don't sit there for 20 seconds. I mean, you put soap on it, you rub it together, and you put it under water. Come on, that's a little too much washing, I think. But we need to fix that.
Well, here's my dirty little hand washing secret. I was curious to see how much longer the watch would go after I was done washing my hands, because I don't actually count out seconds. And what I found is that it finishes, and I'm still going for a few more seconds.
Right. It should be like an OCD detector in there too. And if you're still going, it's like,
I probably do need
Jeff. You're good. You got enough. Stop. Just stop.
I probably do need that.
Yeah.
It's like, Jeff, it's okay. Your hands are clean.
You're going to take some of your skin off at this point. Stop washing.
So all right. So I highly recommend it. I like the watch. I'm happy. But like I said, if you're on a Series 5, my opinion, wait till the next one. I'm glad I waited because I was on Series 4, and Jeff, you're ready to pull the trigger soon.
Yep.
And
I guess now I just have to wait for watches to be in stock again.
Yeah. But keep an eye on. I don't know if your stores or local stores are open. Keep an eye on that. Sometimes you get lucky, like I did. And then let's go talk a little bit about iOS 14. We're not going to spend a ton of time in it, but there are some things that could have stood out. One thing, like we mentioned earlier, is I have been noticing some issues with battery life. And Jeff, you brought that up. What do you think has been hitting the battery life on the iPhone the most as of late?
That's a good question. How about if I look real quick and see what my iPhone
you can look
says?
for battery. Yeah, I haven't looked. Right. I haven't looked either.
Battery, and there we go. Activity. Safari is, well, let's look over the last 10 days. That's what really matters here. Safari is taking a big hit, and then Tweetbot. So that's probably Facebook and Twitter stuff. But still, my watch, my phone, just sitting unused, or inactive, that battery is draining so fast. And if I'm doing something like I get up in the morning, fully charged phone, and I spend like 10 minutes going through messages and emails and other notifications, and in that 10 minutes, my phone will be down to 74% charge.
Okay.
It's like crazy draining.
Yeah, I've also noticed my battery health has dropped to 96% for a phone that's only a year old. So
yeah, mine too. I'm at 97. I just checked that. There.
Yeah,
my battery capacity is back up to 100%. I thought it was a little bit lower than that. Now, I did get a battery replacement from Apple, probably 8 months ago now.
Okay, which one are you on?
I'm still rocking my iPhone 10. That will probably change in a month.
Okay. Oh yeah.
I wonder if that could be part of the battery issue, maybe. And I don't know.
It's always mail is always the big culprit. Especially because of notifications you're getting all the time. I use the app radio.com a lot. I listen to it at night, but I'm generally charging, as that's what's kind of weird. It came up as one of the things that do it. But you got OneDrive doing backup background activity.
Mm-hmm.
Messages has a little bit on it. So you just got to kind of keep an eye on what activity is really hitting the battery hard.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was expecting to see other things at the top of the list, but Safari and Tweetbot, those account for
I got Twitter.
half my
got
battery
Twitter
activity.
I got Twitter notifications hitting all the time. I forgot about that. Yeah, I get notifications every time I have people that I'm watching, and that could affect it too. So, but let's go ahead and talk a little bit about some of the things that stood out. And everybody's been talking about this, and I think it's just amazing. Is the back tap? And it's kind of bizarre. It's bizarre the fact that Apple buries this in accessibility. So the way to get to it is you got to go to settings, and then you go to accessibility, and then you go under physical and motor and select touch. If you scroll all the way down towards at the bottom, actually, there is a selection that says back tap. And then you have two choices, double tap or triple tap. Now, you could set this to basically all kinds of stuff here, including like app switcher, bringing you right to the control center, your home screen, your lock screen, reachability. You could do a screenshot. I think that's kind of cool. Like that, I've selected the double tap on the back of the iPhone to do a screenshot on one of them, and you could turn the magnifier on, which I like using the magnifier a lot. And then a lot of shortcuts you could add as a back tap as well in either one. Same thing with triple tap. And in fact, I like the screenshot to be a triple tap because you can hit you could double tap pretty easy versus triple tap.
I've had double tap happen just setting my phone down on a counter.
Yeah, exactly. So
apparently, I need to set my phone down more gently.
Warren, have you set any of this at all?
I set it up, but I've tried different cases. It's hit or miss with me. So, or tap or miss, like I say sometimes. But sometimes I get it to work and sometimes I don't. And I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong or differently. But I have to
work on your finger strength.
Well, that's the thing. I don't know like how hard, and there's timing, and like sometimes it's a bit of a delay. So I have 3 taps going to the home screen. And like I'll do the 3 taps and then nothing happens, and then I'll just start continuing what I'm about to do, and then it happens. So I kind of gave up on it, but it's neat.
Which iPhone do you have? I'm curious.
I have the 11 Pro Max.
Okay, so it can't be a performance thing with the processor.
I would hope not, or
mine works.
I am due for a new phone, so
yeah. But my iPhone 10
every year
is still. It's an older processor than yours. It's not as fast as yours. And I have a near instant response from BackTap.
Yeah. Again, are you using a case or no?
Yes, I do have a case on mine. It's not a thick case.
Yeah, I've tried it with thin ones. I have I don't know. It's weird. Try it. So,
and then there has been some control center changes. If you go into control center, they really have expanded out the HomeKit, and a lot of your specific. If you have any specific scenes, you can put them right into control center. And for those of you who don't remember what control center is, most of the newer iPhones, you drag it from the top right. If you have like an iPhone 8 with a home button, you drag it up from the bottom. And to get to the settings, all you have to do is you go to under settings, and then you go into control center, and that's where you actually can actually access a lot of these things and make changes. Now you can turn off home controls. If for some reason you don't like to have the home controls in your control center, you can just turn it off completely, and then those will not show up anymore. Now you've got included controls where you can put in there, and they've added a lot of stuff in here. As of late, Warren, do you have any ones that you use all the time in Control Center that you like to leave in theirs?
No, I don't use the Control Center. I have an August lock that I use my widgets more for. So not the well, it was widgets. What was it before widgets when you scroll to the left? Those are also widgets, right?
They were widgets, yep. But we weren't able to customize them.
Yeah, so I did that. but it's neat. You know, in the control center, I see a couple of my lights showed up in there, so I could play with it there, but not too much.
Okay. And Jeff, anything with the control center that you like?
Yeah. Well, for the home kit stuff, I'm looking to see what I said in here, and I have a couple lights in here that I often want to control without using voice, and I actually have my HomePod in here, so that when it's playing, I can turn it off without saying anything. And I actually have a reason for this, and it's because I have found that if my phone starts to ring and I tell my HomePod to stop playing music, it almost always fails to hear what I'm saying. So now I can just do a quick tap and the music is stopped and I'm answering the phone and it's all good.
Well, there you go. So.
Yeah. So other than that, the way I'm using Control Center really hasn't changed. It's the same things that I had set up before. Just now I have a few extra buttons for some stuff I'd rather tap.
Yeah. And then some other stuff that I think people are really happy with is being able to tap and hold on any screen and bring you in jiggle mode. But you also have options when you go in jiggle mode to tap the bar at the bottom there, and that brings you into the list of all your pages. Now you can uncheck and hide like all your pages if you want to, and the apps don't disappear, but the pages themselves are not there anymore, and you can get it over to the new app library, which I think is awesome. Warren, do you remove any of your pages, or do you leave them all in place, or how do you customize yours?
I leave all my pages there. So
you like them there.
I like them there. So I mean, even with the app library and the changes, I don't want to change. My muscle memory is kind of where I'm at, so I'm not changing too much because it will screw me up. So, my home screen hasn't changed too much since the iOS 13 and 14. I added a couple widgets, but other than that, everything kind of is the same for me.
Okay. Jeff, have you hit any of your pages at all?
I haven't. Yes, actually, I have. I was going to say I haven't, but then I realized I immediately took all the stuff that I had cast to the very end of my pages into the area that I called Rura Penthe, and it's all the apps that I didn't want to have, and for whatever reason they needed to stick around.
Yep.
So they all went there, and now that's a hidden page.
Okay. And then the other cool thing that they added, which I just realized that they did this, you can you know how normally you could tap and hold an app and then it says remove app. Well, it gives you an option now. You can either delete the app completely from your phone or your iPad for that matter, or you can move it to the app library. So you can do individual apps and hide them, and not the whole page. So there might be apps that you may not use.
I've done that with several apps. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the app library itself, I think I like it. I like it the way it's laid out. I think Apple's done a good job of curating what's what, when something's in social or productivity, utilities, entertainment, so on and so forth. I think it's grouped nice. And I really love the alphabetical list now, where you drag down and gives you the alphabetical list, and you can just kind of scroll A to Z to try to find your app, because it was always a challenge to find your apps. And you still can create folders. I think a lot of people still create folders. I mean, I have a ton of folders that I create. So I think people are real excited about about this. So, as far as being able to customize. Now, let's talk about widgets. Widgets are a big thing now. I think widgets have become like really hot right now, as we were talking the pre-show. I like how you can hold the widget when you scroll over to the all the way to the right, and you can edit the widget. You can make changes to widget. You can add the home screen, or better yet, you tap and drag the widget over to one of your screens, and I can incorporate, like, let's say the weather widget and have it right there, and then I can have the weather widget within the rest of your icons. Now, it kind of drives me crazy because I'm so used to where apps are that it kind of moves things over, because then like I did it right now, my home page. So you go to that second page, it moves over 3 of the folders I had onto another page, and then you have nothing there. So that's the one kind of bad thing it is when you want to incorporate your widgets within a home page. But it is really cool. And Warren, you said that you do have one of the widget. There was like a calendar widget that you have on the page or on your homepage.
I have a couple of them. I have a smart stack on the first
Smart
page,
stack, that's right.
And then on the second page, I have a Siri suggestions widget, which I really like too. And then there's a Google widget for Google search, and that's all I got. And like you, it kind of makes me annoyed when I try to put a widget somewhere and then the icons move to the next page, and I'm like, there's got to be a way. And the widget for some reason won't let you put it on the bottom. Have you noticed that? If you try to put like a widget on the bottom of all your icons,
that's so frustrating.
It's like, just stay on that bottom. It just won't. It just pops back up into the middle of the screen, and so that annoys me. So I mean, it's a lot of it's fine. Once you figure out how you want to do it. So I think the holy grail is basically getting one page of widgets and then hiding everything else and just having the app library on the other page. And
that's a good idea. I didn't think of that. You could just create an actual move over to one page, instead of it being over.
I'm migrating
left.
I think to a hybrid version of that, where I'll have the first page, which will be the apps that I use all the time, which is exactly what I've always done. And probably 1 or 2 widgets there, but small ones. And then my second page is going to be just a data page where it's all information just from widgets, and then everything else after that.
Yeah. Right. So like on the first page, if you did like the Siri suggestions, and if it was good enough to know the apps that you use at that time, that would kind of be a good way to do it too. So like, that's I
did that for a little while, and it was messing with my head too much, and I had to take that one off because there's no indication that widget group is a widget group. It's just a group of icons. Right. On one hand,
get used to it.
Yeah, on one hand, that's great because it becomes this transparent thing where the apps that you're using at any given time are just the ones that are there. But for me, it just hurt my head too much because I know the widgets that I have in place, and then there was this block where they were just changing.
Right, yeah, and it's trippy if you watch it change because you'll be sitting because you forget about it for a second and you'll be watching it, and all of a sudden something changes on the screen. And it's like, what? My icons just moved around. And it's a Siri thing. So,
so I actually had to turn that one off. Now, if I could put a background on it, so it was obvious that was a separate block, then I'd be more inclined to use it. And it's a stupid reason not to use it because it's really handy, but still.
There's a bug on it. I don't know if it's still there, but sometimes the word suggestions comes underneath it, under that widget, and the words kind of go right on top of the words of the icons underneath it. So that was a problem too. So
that's a problem.
Yep.
And then we'll come back to widgets just a minute because we have 2 apps that I have bookmarked to talk about. I just want to hit 3 more things here before we wrap it up here. And the spatial audio for AirPods Pro is amazing. I don't know if Warren, you tried it out. Do you have AirPods Pro, Jeff?
I don't. I'm still rocking my original AirPods. My restriction that I put on myself for the AirPods because it's just too easy to keep buying all the things.
Yes, it is.
So my AirPods restriction is I do not get to replace them no matter how cool the current AirPods are until the battery in at least one of my AirPods is essentially unusable.
There you go.
So my guess is that next spring I have to replace my AirPods because I have one AirPod where the battery life is maybe 30 minutes.
Okay. Yep, you're due. But the spatial audio is just absolutely amazing. It basically makes you feel like I look to the left, I look to the right. It's like, wow. It really gives you a spatial immersing sound. And of course the audio itself has to have it. If you listen to the Apple event video, they had it in there and started watching some of the sessions in there, and it was like, holy cow, I'm looking around and where am I? So it is really
that's
cool.
very cool.
Sound. Yeah, it's really cool. Warren, you tried them out and you think it's
it's cool. I mean, it works a lot better with a phone or an iPad than the Apple TV, because it follows the device, which is kind of neat. Yeah. So if you actually you're listening to something and you have your phone with you, if you move your phone like there, it actually moves a voice with it, which is kind of
that's just straight up cool.
It is cool. It's very cool.
It's way cool.
And it actually sounds like it's coming like for a minute you think that the Bluetooth connection to your earpods got lost and it's coming out of the phone speaker, and you're like, oh crap, everybody can hear me now. But you take off the headphones and it's like, oh no, it's not.
Yeah. And then other feature I wanted to that was very welcome to be brought in on iOS 14 is the picture-in-picture. Being able to watch video and then it allows you to let it float on your screen while you go and do something else, especially for FaceTime. I mean, my gosh, it was annoying. Anytime someone wanted to go look at something on their iPhone while they're on FaceTime, and then you're paused. Mm-hmm. well, now it will not pause anymore. It'll allow you still see them while they're going and navigating to Safari or looking at an email or looking at a picture or whatever they're looking at. That piece of it is great. Any other video type source, I use Xfinity Streams. I'm a Xfinity customer. I'm able to, this works on the iPad as well. The iPad actually, it's been doing it for a while for a lot of them, but the iPhone as well is the big thing. Being able to just, go along and you can still listen as well as watch and go do other things. The one thing it doesn't do it well with is YouTube, and YouTube has been trying to block it actually because they don't like, especially if you don't have their premium subscription.
That's what they want. They want you to pay.
That's what you want you to do. And I am a premium subscriber, so it seems to work. But I don't even know if the picture-in-picture still works. It still works when I go out of the YouTube app. I can still hear the audio, but a lot of times you can't see the video. So YouTube's being kind of jerks about that, honestly. Be with that. So, and then let's dive into two apps I wanted to stand out as far as relating to widgets goes. This has been a really hot app right now, Widget Smith. And it's a free app, and what it does is it allows you to be able to create personalized widgets, and you can customize your home screen as like you've never been able to before. It integrates with all kinds of different stuff, so you can set scheduling of specific calendars, the weather. You can create small, medium, or large widgets. Make changes. It's been quite a thing here, and they do have an optional subscription that's offered monthly or an annual basis that gives you some more widgets that you may not like.
It adds in the weather,
weather and what was it?
The star or something.
Yeah. You've been playing around with this, Jeff, with this app?
I have. So far, I've been playing with the free version because the weather stuff that I want to see is in Fantastical, but I have to add, Apple bought Dark Sky. Why don't we have Dark Sky widgets?
Good question.
So I guess I'm kind of holding out for Dark Sky widgets. But the stuff that I've been playing with in it so far is great. I've been able to make customized widgets that have all different kinds of information that I need. You can even do a static thing where you just have like text on them, which I guess I don't know. What if you decide you wanted? I've got it. You have a series of notes and reminders that you want that they're just very static pieces of information. You could just make a custom Widget Smith widget where you can just swipe through those text notes.
Yep. And Warren, you said you have dabbled in Widget Smith a little bit, or?
I installed it a few days ago, and I didn't really like it that much. I uninstalled it, and then I tried it again today.
Okay.
It's neat. It doesn't do as much as I thought it could do. You could add a weather widget, you could add a clock widget.
Yeah.
So it does a few cool things, but for free, it's fine. I added a big clock to mine with the widget because
okay.
I don't know if you heard, but I got a new Tesla car.
Yeah, we've heard.
I did. So I picked it up, and for some reason with that big screen, there's no big clock, and so it's actually hard to tell the time in the thing. So I figured this widget that I have here is just a big clock from the widget thing. So now
for those you're watching, he showed his phone, and it's got a nice big clock on it.
I have a mount. I have a mount now for my phone that sits out by my Tesla's screen. So now it's basically a big clock.
There you go. And then the other app pick was Fantastical, which is absolutely amazing calendaring app. And they are supporting widgets. So you can bring a calendar and all kinds of great widgets, because I kind of think the widget's much better than Widget Smith, because actually Widget Smith when you tap the calendar, it just brings you back to their widget and doesn't give you access to your calendar. So if you use Fantastical, which is as a fantastic app, it works really well. It sounds like, Jeff, you're a big user of Fantastical.
Yes, and what I have done with the widgets, there we go. Woke up my phone. I experimented with a small widget and a big widget at the same time.
Yep.
And that's what the big widget was, what convinced me that I'm probably going to do page 2 on the home screen as a data center. So it'll be the big Fantastical, and then probably a couple other things, or maybe a smart stack.
All right.
Because it's great. It's exactly what I want. Yeah. It's the calendar for today and tomorrow. It gives me the weather, and just enough of the weather. I need to know: is it rainy? Mm-hmm. Is it overcast? Is it sunny? How hot is it?
That's right there,
and it's just right there.
Yep.
Yeah. I absolutely love what they've done with these widgets.
Yeah. Check it out. I believe Fantastical is not free. It is paid.
No,
app.
it's part of a subscription.
There's a subscription, right?
Setup. I thought Setup might have it, but I could be wrong.
I don't think Setup has Fantastical.
Yeah.
I might be wrong. Setup has so many things, and oftentimes I'll find I went and bought something, and it turns out it was in Setup.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you got to pay attention.
I always need to go and search Setup before
you sure do
before I pay for something.
So, and with that, our time has just expired past us here, and there's so many other things we could talk about, but we would be here much longer. But we're going to save it for future episodes.
Busy Cal. I'm sorry.
Busy Cal.
Real-time follow-up is Busy Cal is the one I have.
Yeah, and Busy Cal is awesome also.
No widgets yet for them.
Nope.
But let's go ahead and wrap things up here. Thanks, everybody, for listening. We really appreciate it. And then that's a wrap for this week. Please send your comments, questions, and suggestions to our email address, feedback@intouchwithios.com. You can follow us on Twitter @intouchwithios, or you can subscribe in your favorite podcatcher, including Apple Podcasts and many others. But better yet, go to our website at intouchwithios.com, where all the links to all the ways to listen to us are there. I am Dave Ginsburg, and you can find me on Twitter @DaveG65. Thanks, as always, for being here, Jeff. Where can everybody find you?
Well, first, thank you for inviting me on again. The fact that I get invited back is awesome, because you never know, but it's just great. So thank you. And
You're
people
welcome.
can find me on Twitter and Instagram. I'm J Gamet both places. And I am speaking. Well, I'm hosting a panel at SearchCon which is October 1st and 2nd. So it's an SEO conference that's being done remotely. So searchcon.events, and that's going to be a lot of fun. And I've mentioned it a couple other places. I am getting ready to launch that interview show. So if you want to hear a podcast where I talk with very interesting people that have very interesting stories, you'll be able to do that very soon.
Can't wait. Then Warren, we find you at Mac to the Future Facebook group, right?
Yeah, if you're brave enough to go back on Facebook, there's a Mac to the Future group. It's a fun group. We talk about lots of stuff, Apple mostly, but you never know. Some people try to sneak things in there that's not Apple related.
Those
and
darn Windows users.
We'll entertain them for a little bit. Other than that, I'm on your show, and we do a show on Wednesday night with Guy.
Yes.
Jeff, it's always fun to have you. You're more lively than most of us, so that's great. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you. I do appreciate it. It's a lot of fun to hang out with both of you.
Yes, we had a lot of fun, and we'll do it again very soon here. So thanks for listening, everybody, and we'll talk to you again soon.